Hey guys, so welcome to Earth Reborn Scenario 3, a playthrough. If you can copy this from the scenario booklet, you'll end up with exactly what I have here. There's no decision making and character placement, so it should be identical. So the new exciting thing that we're learning in this scenario is the shoot order. So on order tiles, you'll now be able to shoot, which means we're going to have weapons, which also means we'll have equipment cards. So we'll talk a bit about those as well. Going to the character card, there's two new icons we need to understand. So on the top right, we have weight allowance. So that's how much equipment a character is actually able to carry. On the bottom right corner of every equipment card, they have a weight associated with it. So as long as you don't surpass that number, your character can hold it. Going over to Zombie here, who has a weight allowance of 0, it doesn't mean he can't carry anything. He can still carry this knife with a weight of 0. So as long as you don't pass your weight allowance, you're good. Other things with a weight allowance of 0 are any sort of markers. So this key card, the serum, a dead body would also have a weight allowance of 0. So the other symbol here is this gun, and that has to do with the shoot move order, or the shoot order from the order tile, sorry. So I'll just give you a quick demo. Hopefully I'll draw a shoot from the bag here. This one will work. So suppose I attach this to Jessica Holster, who is equipped with the light bolter. So I'll move her over to here. Great. So she's there and she's going to be shooting at Nick Bolter. So how it works is you spend however many command points you want. In this case I'll spend 2. And once you've spent them, then the other player gets to check line of sight. So you should have already checked, and here, suppose that there was something blocking your way and you've already spent those tokens on shoot order and you said Nick Bolter is your target. If it is blocked, it's your own fault, and those command points are lost. So it's a very harsh rule. But yeah, your opponent can hold you to it. It's in the rule book. So once you do that and everything's okay, as is the case here, then the first thing you do is roll for targeting. So coming over to Jess Holster, her targeting is 2 dice. And you can think of targeting as the distance you're going to be able to accurately shoot your weapon. This light bolter gives you a bonus targeting of 2. So each damage symbol counts as a space on the board. You can't count diagonally, so Nick Bolter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. So you count the space that he's on, but not the space that you're on. So rolling these dice, I have 2 dice to add on to the potential, to the guaranteed spacing of 2. So 2 spaces for sure plus 2 dice. Now that's a pretty hard roll to get 6. So what I am able to do, because I spent a second command point, I can use that here for my extra die. Okay, yeah, and we'll do that. So I'll roll these dice, so I have 2 spaces already, and I roll this and I only get a third. So that would put me at 1, 2, 3, right? So still not close enough. And so you wouldn't even get to roll for damage, just because in this, thematically in this scenario, Jess Holster was too nervous or too shaky on her gun and missed the shot. However, suppose I did roll enough, then we would go through to the assigned damage phase. Now, one new symbol I didn't roll, we'll pretend that maybe I did, is this bullet symbol. So what that signifies is ammunition. If you roll it with a gun that has the magazine and the bullet in the top left corner, then that means your gun is officially out of ammo. So you'll be able to assign damage because you've already taken the shot, but as of next time, before you can use it again, you'll have to reload it. And to do so, all you do is spend a command point on the character who's holding the weapon, and then you can remove that wound and it's good for use. The other type of guns that exist, so top left can run out of ammo. This one here, rather than being able to run out of ammo, so it won't be affected at all by that symbol there. Rather than that, it has a finite ammunition count. So each time you use it, you put a wound marker on it. Then once you reach 5, that'll be the last time you can use it, and that's discarded. So that's one thing. The other thing, so suppose I had rolled that critical hit symbol we're used to seeing in close combat. If you roll that, then regardless of where your character is standing, so long as they pass the line of sight check, which of course you would have already done, then even if here in this case I only have 1 plus the 2 default damage that this gun gives me, so 1, 2, 3, I would still count as a hit because I rolled a critical. So I could have been way over here and it still counts as a hit because I had the line of sight, passed that test, and then got lucky and rolled this 1 in 6 odd symbol. So anyways, we will pretend that I actually did get targeting. So pretend I rolled 6, so each bullet counts as 1. Or pretend that I rolled that critical hit, don't know why I'm moving off it. And so it does go through, and we'll pretend I didn't spend that command point on targeting. So I only got to roll 2 dice, and I was lucky to get that critical hit symbol. So next we go on to damage. So how damage works is you check that exterior arc of the character, and Nick Bolter is in my red zone. So I will get to roll, looking at the equipment card, 2 dice for damage. However, I have an unspent CP, so I'll use that now to get a 3rd die. And this is very similar to close combat. So in that sense, the ammo symbol doesn't affect anything because we're doing damage now, we're not thinking of the weapons. So here we have a total damage count of 5, our hit count of 5. And then what you do is you subtract that from the character you're attacking's defense value. Because you're not doing close combat though, they don't get to roll any of these defenses. So it's just the 5 in this case minus the 4, so it'd do 1 point of damage. Like close combat, had I rolled critical hits, they would have gone through first, and no matter what, those go through. Cool, so that's how that works. We're ready to get started, so let's put some of this stuff away, and I'll tell you about the scenario as I do. So the Salamite player have a new character, John Kendall, and he invented a zombie serum, which he has on him, that he's planning to unleash into the world. The NORAD players heard about this and decided they should probably stop him. However, John Kendall thinks now that, like, wow, we should definitely unleash this and kill these guys. Now, the other Salamite players don't know that, but that's his plan. So he wants to unleash it and escape into his chem lab. If John Kendall makes it into his chem lab successfully, the Salamite players win. The NORAD players win by killing John Kendall, taking the virus, and running off the map to the left here. The other way the Salamite players can win is just by wiping out the NORAD players before they accomplish their objective. Great, and that's all you need to know. Cool. So, down here, the default command point's 10 for the Salamite, plus 4 from Jess Holster, that bottom left, right? And then, one more it should be. One more from John Kendall, putting us at 15 it should be, and I think I might have made a mistake. I'll count that in a sec. On the NORAD side, we have 8, 2 from James Wu, 2 from Vasquez, 4 from Nick Bolter, putting us at a glorious 16. The initiative is going to start from the Salamite player. Before we do the initiative though, we should probably get some order tiles. So just because I'm running low on space with all the equipment, I'll put the Salamite's tokens up here. So there we go, a draw of 5. And again, because it's the first draw, either player could mulligan at no expense to get 5 new tiles if they're unhappy with what they have. I'm sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, one too many. Okay, so the Salamite player has initiative, and looking at the map there, they just need to get John Kendall who's in that corner to the chem lab. If they do that, it's over, and that's by far the fastest way for them to win, so that's what they're going to be going for. Something that's worth pointing out is how strategically the zombie and Jaxar are set up right now. So in that positioning, my characters, even if he was standing right here, wouldn't have line of sight. And the reason for that is you can think of it like targeting. So when you do line of sight, you count the squares. Or when you do targeting, you count the squares. So 1, 2, but I'm going through a character, so I can't go that way. 1, 2, again, I'm going through a character, so I can't go that way. So the rule is, if ever, I don't even know what is it orthogonal? Whenever two characters here are, whenever 2 squares have no line of sight, you can't go between the 2. So an example like on the map would be here. If a character's standing here, you don't have line of sight if you're standing here. Great. moving Nick Bolter back. And the reason why I pointed that out is because I rather like this formation, so we're going to do our best to keep it so that John Kendall doesn't die. And so in order to keep it, we will move Zombie 1 first. And I'll have a look at these. I grabbed one too many. I'll have a look at these order tiles, see what we got. Two too many. So we want them all to move about the same amount, so 2 movements would be ideal. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Alright, let's do this then. Okay, so attaching this to Zombie, and now the order tile is going to go between the Zombie and his equipment. So I'll activate him, and I'm choosing to put an order tile, and then I'll spend 2 command points on movement. I'm doing this all at once because nobody's going to be able to interrupt. There's no one who's going to have line of sight. So he has 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I choose the placement, and that's the end of the turn. So a simple start for the Selmites. Over to the NORAD side, looking at the map here, we got some hard decisions. So we're really strong with weapons and guns, so we definitely want to fight these guys from a distance, right? Because the Zombie has a knife, Jacksaw has his saw, so they're all very good close up. So we want to be fighting from a distance for sure. However, if you send everyone out, right, then it's easy for Kendall to run back and for us to have no defense. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send Vasquez this way to block this doorway, right? Because I don't want Kendall easily getting through doors. So to stand in front of this so that he has to fight his way through. And I'll send James Wu maybe here to block this doorway and to shoot out from there. Then in terms of Nick Bolter, he will actually do the chasing. So I'll see if I can get him all the way to the end here to get a quick shot at Kendall. Okay, so let's have a look at the movement tiles. So we need some, is that 2 movement? I'm going to actually count ahead of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on a character who has 5 movement. Okay, so we'll need 3 to do this. So ideally 3 and some good shoot. It's going to have to be this one. Okay, so I attach this to Nick Bolter. I activate this. I choose to attach this order tile, and I'll start my movement. I know for a fact I'm not going to block line of sight, so I'm going to go ahead and attach the 3 command points straight away. That'll put me at 15. And we already canned this out as 14. If you look all the way here, there is no line of sight, and the reason for that, by the way, this has never been addressed. The no eye symbol means no line of sight. So as long as that's in the way, then characters can't see each other. And then the other thing, if you're not sure if you have line of sight, what you're trying to do is from the center of the character's base, go to the center of the other's character base. And if there's a clear path and it's in the proper red or orange arc, then you do have line of sight. But in this case, we're always hitting some of these symbols. So here we are at 14, and for the first time we have clear line of sight. So although that's good for Nick Bolter, the Salamite player can now interrupt if they want to with Kendall. So they know what these guys are up to. They know that they're trying to take a shot at Kendall, and so they have to decide whether or not they're worried enough about about Nick shooting from about 13 squares away, right? Because they still have to do the targeting roll to see if they even get to do damage. Having a look here, they would only be able to move 1 square worth, which isn't very good. No, they'll let this happen. So Nick Bolter can run his thing. They decide not to duel or interrupt, and he'll move his 15th space right here. So, first thing we do, so like a clever person, I have made sure that I have line of sight, but now that I've officially put the command points down, the opponent can also check, right? And if there is none, then those points are lost. Lucky for the NORAD side, there in fact is line of sight, and so we have these 2 bullets, 2 command points attached to this gun. So